At this rally for fair housing, the young commando stands steadfast as security. This gentleman is part of the Nonviolent National Association for the Advancement of Colored People Youth Council, NAACP for short. He is security for marchers and activists. 2,300 civil rights marchers gathered on September 11, 1967, outside of St. Boniface Church. They gathered here to back fair housing in Milwaukee, meaning they wanted to not be discriminated against when looking for residence and branching away from the segregated parts they were forced into with little to no jobs in the area, hence the pin on the back of the commando's hat. In recent times, there are still little to no jobs in the segregated parts of Milwaukee. The segregation was an issue then as it is today, and these marchers were also met with hate from the opposition who continued after the marches to aid the segregation. In an audio clip from Father James Cotey, he speaks on the marches for fair housing and the media's rhetoric.
When we had a disturbance here in the black community, you had those cameras all over the place, and you had this news media all over the place, and you reported every window that got broke. But last night you looked on television and no one saw those white bigots out there screaming, "We want slaves and niggers go home," and everything else. I want to ask, what was the reason for that? I watched Channel 6, I didn't see a thing. And I understand Channel 12 had very little on. That's white power. In other words, it's the white man's press. That's what it is.
At this time, James Cotey was a big figure in the Milwaukee civil rights movement, organizing and backing many marches. This was during an important time in history, and they fought for desegregation. But, unfortunately, Milwaukee is still segregated today. This brings me to my parallel, and it's an overhead shot of Milwaukee. The spread is Milwaukee in the 60s and then present day. And this segregation has continued due to redlining, which is an unapproved loans through restrictive covenants, which ban non-servant African Americans from residing in the area. This on top of little to no jobs and discrimination, the segregation continued, and you have what Milwaukee is today, one of the most, if not the most, segregated city in America.